Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans.
What can I do? What can I do to make this less
Ladies and
unbearable?
the moment has arrived.
You got to tell me what the problem is.
It just feels very
Ariel
tinny
Helwani.
in my ears, you know?
Live
So if I go a little bit up,
studios in
it's
beautiful
even
New York
worse.
City, it's on the
But I thought we
nose.
fixed it on,
And now, to answer
did we
your
not on
question,
Monday? I thought it was a quick
get on
reset.
How did
your
it sound
seats
before the
and on
show?
your
It
feet
sounded
because
actually much
here
better.
he is,
All right, so
Ariel Helwani.
Yeah, there I am. Thank you very much to Mike Heck. Sounding better, by the way. I don't know if you're doing anything or just drinking Prime back there.
just turning the knob that's labeled.
Don't touch. Better.
But no, all joking aside, I made an adjustment.
Oh, thanks. It does sound a little bit better. I like that. You know, I'm a product of Howard Stern, and he always talks about like the deep. Like I like a deep, rich, like a bass. You know what I mean? Like if I go down, I want it to go down. But if I go up, I want it to go up as well. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So anyway, all right, let's get to the questions. No time to waste. We've wasted enough time here. Oh, I'm so excited. Matmo, bonjour, Lord Ariel. I'm not sure if you've ever debated this, but I wanted to know who you think would win in a street fight between prime Khabib and prime Mike Tyson. Why in the world would we ever, ever, ever debate that? Obviously Tyson would have the size advantage, but it wouldn't be as pronounced as people think. They're only 1 inch apart in height and possess the same reach. Tyson was always a smaller heavyweight, weighing in at around 218 pounds, whereas Khabib would get close to 200 out of camp. Okay, well, first of all, you're talking about Tyson 218 at a fight. You're talking about Khabib out of camp, so that alone doesn't really make sense. But anyway, how would this fight play out, and what would Tyson's chances be of knocking out Khabib before Khabib takes him down? Would love to hear Rick's take on this fantasy matchup and for GC to set the odds as well. Thanks, as always, for being the #1 show in Comment Sports. Do you think this guy's trolling us or what? Because sometimes Matt Mo is a little bit comme ci, comme ça with his questions. Does anyone have any interest in a fantasy matchup between Khabib and Mike Tyson? Khabib, who never fought above 155, and Mike Tyson, who was a heavyweight?
I mean, I have interest in it. Like, if they had it, yeah, I mean, I'd watch it.
Who
But
wins
yeah,
the
he's
fight?
also referring to like these like hypothetical street fights. Like, who cares?
Who gives
Like,
a
I don't care.
People have asked me about Bruce Lee, Mike Tyson before, and I don't even
Don't
care
care.
about that.
Nope. Zero.
Wow.
Shout out to Bruce
Wow.
Lee.
If they had a street fight, you wouldn't watch?
That's not the question. Of course I would watch, but I would watch a lot of stupid things. I was watching a 30-year-old episode of The Wonder Years that I saw 9 times already yet last night. I was
Have you
crying.
watched the reboot of The Wonder Years?
No, I can't be bothered. Some things should just.
So you knew it was coming and you still cried like a baby?
I mean, my wife was like, "Is everything all right?" I'm like, "I don't know what's going on here, but I'm just crying."
I'm dazed. I'm concussed.
Yeah,
I'm crying. I'm emotional.
Winnie Cooper doesn't want to see him. They're growing apart. I start thinking about my own life, my kids. I'm gonna start crying right now. I feel my eyes welling up. Anyways, is it welling or swelling? Anyway, I don't really care about this.
Welling.
Yeah, I guess Khabib would have trouble. You know, maybe Khabib shoots for the takedown and Tyson catches him with an uppercut. Who the hell knows? What are the odds on this fight?
You said the weight differential earlier. You'd have to think Tyson would be favored in a fight in the street, for sure.
Here's where it gets a little bit more interesting. Is it a 2023 matchup?
Okay, yeah. I mean, 2023, that changes everything. I thought this was prime versus prime.
He didn't. Did he specify?
Prime versus prime, like Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson was ferocious. Anyway, Ariel, gang, big show, big fan of the show. James Roberts says, however, last week I found myself massively disagreeing with you, Ariel. You talked about having no interest in seeing people like Whittaker and Holloway getting another title shot, but I think this is totally wrong. Can you imagine in other sports if we use the same logic? Sorry, Djokovic, you lost to Federer the last 2 times, so we have no interest in you playing him again. Now, let's be honest. I mean, these guys end up playing each other like 40 times, so it's a little bit different, but okay, fine. I totally get the idea of making their path to a title shot more difficult to avoid the rematch happening so soon, but eventually you have to give it to them, especially in the Holloway case. as many people say, he won the second fight. Would love to hear your thoughts. Well, first of all, Holloway different than Whittaker. Holloway has fought Volkanovski 3 times, Whittaker just twice. And as I said to Whittaker on Monday, there is a precedent. I'm much more open to the Whittaker fight than the Holloway fight, just because also the last Holloway Volkanovski fight was very one-sided. Like, there was no doubt whatsoever who won that fight and who the better fighter was. The last Whittaker Adesanya fight was very close, and even Whittaker thinks that he, could have gotten the nod. So those two factors are very much in Whittaker's favor here. And ultimately, as we've talked about with New York Rick in the past, like if there's no one else, there's no one else. What would you rather see? Sean Strickland type of guy, and I'm not talking about Strickland in particular, like a 7th ranked guy who we think maybe has no chance, or number 1 versus number 2. Yeah, sure. Give me number 1 versus number 2. It would just be nice if there were other contenders there. And in particular, if you're not killing off guys who had won 10 in a row against the likes of Max Holloway, who's the second best featherweight in the world, best featherweight not named Alex Volkanovski. So I don't know. I don't remember exactly what I said last week, but the point is, the fresher the matchup, it's always better. It's always more interesting. But ultimately, if it means we get to see Izzy fight again, if it means that we're getting the best matchups possible, yeah, sure. Now, I would also say, if in fact, like if Alex Pereira was staying at 185, Alex Pereira should be fighting Israel Adesanya next. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So if you did Volkanovski, Holloway 4, if you did Izzy Whittaker 3, and the other guy won, meaning Holloway beats Volkanovski, Whittaker beats Izzy, if you're going to run it back that many times, you got to give the guy, if he loses in the 3rd or 4th fight, you got to give him an immediate crack at the belt. It's just like, so that's why, like, when they came out and said, Pereira's got to do work now, like, man, he did fight you 4 times in 2 different sports, sure, but it was 4 times. How does he not deserve a crack at the title if he was staying at 185? He's not, so it's a moot point. But I think that has to be like an absolute. If we're gonna run this back 3 times, I'm up 2-0, 4 times, I'm up 3-0, and I lose, you best believe I'm not working my way back to that shot. 1,000%. Max, hello, Ariel. A great chat with Bobby Knuckles. Thank you. My question this week is, why do you think it's not a good idea to give him the 3rd chance against Izzy? He's clearly the best middleweight besides Izzy, and in my opinion, you can make a case that he won the second fight. I would love to see a 3rd matchup between these two. So why give the title shot to Strickland or DDP when these two are undoubtedly not as good as Bobby? Shouldn't the title shot be given to the best man in the division? Yes, although what I was just saying, like, you got to build it up just a little bit. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, the thing that's not being accounted for here, right? We compared it to other sports. We compared it to tennis. Is Djokovic versus Nadal is a hot ticket, right? People want that ticket. MMA fans don't want number 4 between Volkanovski and Holloway. It's not because Holloway isn't good enough to fight Volkanovski. It's because this is a promotional product and they have to sell pay-per-views and sell a main event, and people are not interested in it. If everybody in the world was interested in Holloway versus Volkanovski, then it would happen, and there'd be a much stronger case for it. But ultimately, the fights that are going to get made are going to be the fights that are going to sell. It's not based on the fact that Max Holloway isn't good enough to fight Alexander Volkanovski.
They also play 90 times a year in tennis. A busy year in MMA is fighting 4 times. They also play tennis 1,000%. For 25 years. Like, the tennis comparison is not a good one.
Both of you are 1,000% right. Ultimately, it's who sells tickets, what sells tickets, and I don't know if that sells tickets. Now, I don't know if it sells tickets in like Florida or Houston. It sure as hell sells tickets in Australia or New Zealand, and if they're going back there, then maybe you consider that. But you know something I was thinking about? I've been seeing a lot of, I've been consuming a lot of Tank Garcia content, and like the number one story or the number one topic that everyone keeps bringing up is the winner of this fight the face of boxing, And this is not what I want to talk about here, but I do think that maybe if Ryan Garcia wins, he's the face of boxing, and maybe if Gervonta wins. Point is Israel Adesanya the face of the UFC right now?
What, can you clarify that term for me? What do we mean?
Oh, that was a classic follow. That was a classic Rick follow-up. I mean,
Conor McGregor is the everything of everything at all times. There is no second place.
It just feels like anyone that isn't close to the sport is always going to identify with Conor McGregor.
Who's number 2? Because Conor
now, I think, Izzy could be number 2 if we're discounting Conor from the perspective that
Conor
visibility.
Conor has that title in perpetuity forever.
Yeah.
So I'm almost excluding him. Who's that next? Who's the other guy? Who's like the active guy?
If I'm being real, it's probably Dana White, and then maybe somebody else.
No, come on.
I'm just calling it like it is.
No,
I'm just calling it like it is.
You can't. It's not Dana White. It's
John
not
Jones.
I think it's
a lot of people that aren't really that into the sport were really hyped when John Jones was fighting.
I'll tell you what. I think for the younger demo, I think for like the 15, 16,
Israel.
17, I think it's Izzy.
I think it matters what you mean by face again, right? Like this comes up when we talk influencer boxing. This comes up when we talk UFC. Pay-per-view sales are different than social media buzz, right? Jake Paul, high social media buzz. Pay-per-views, I would argue, not very high. We've seen press releases to the contrary.
800,000.
Yeah, for sure. But Israel Adesanya, probably not as big a pay-per-view draw as John Jones, but huge social media buzz, huge attention. John Jones may be pulling in more of that casual attention, people talking and not necessarily on Twitter buzzing about it. There's different kind of levers and things that these different athletes can pull. If we're going just like pure Q rating, who's going to know him? John Jones, just based on the longevity, is probably going to edge that out, just on the fact that he's spanning multiple generations and now there's new people being exposed to him. But there's no doubt that Israel Adesanya is like building of an extremely strong and dedicated audience and making these moments that go viral. It's hard to avoid Israel Adesanya. So yeah, he's up there. I think it's very hard to qualify any of this stuff, but he's up there.
I give him the nod. I say he's the guy.
Over Jones even, you're saying?
Yeah, I say he's more active on social media. He's a little hipper. I don't know. I feel like
the connection between him and fans is stronger for sure. Absolutely. But plopping down the money to watch a pay-per-view fight, John Jones is still he's still that dude, you know?
Yeah, I highly disagree with the Dana take. Dana does not. I'm talking about like high school kids. I'm talking about anecdotally.
He's with the Nelk boys. He's all over their feeds.
I was going to say, he's at the casino with Steve Will Do It every other night.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah. They're like constantly posting at the casino together, betting hundreds of thousands of dollars.
How much do you think he pays to hang out with them?
What was it, 250,000?
There's no chance that they actually enjoy hanging out with like a 55-year-old. That can't be possible, right? He's their dad's age.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't watch any of the content, so I couldn't tell you.
He's an incredibly famous person with a lot of power, so I don't know if it takes any.
All right. This dude Max is saying greetings from Germany. Big Bayern Munich Man City match today. I don't know if you guys know that.
No, I did know that.
Taco Enthusiast says, hello, friends. Hello. The top-ranked fighters in the bantamweight division have been very active. A few months ago, I thought Sean O'Malley, waiting for the winner of Cejudo Sterling, was the right move, and he'd be a shoo-in for the title shot. So did he. But recent dominant showings from Merab, Sandhagen, and Font have honestly made O'Malley an afterthought in my mind. With the benefit of hindsight, it seems like O'Malley may have made a mistake by just sitting and waiting for these last 6 months. Do you think he made a mistake and should stay active? Who's most likely getting the title shot next? I don't know if he made a mistake. He's going to fight for the belt. He's going to get paid. He's very popular. From a promotional standpoint, don't love it. By the time he fights, it's going to be October. So he beat Petr Yan, hard-fought win, close fight, whatever, and then that's it. And other guys have fought Petr Yan since then, and they're not getting anything like of note, at least of right now. Like I don't like the way this was handled at all. Like if that title shot was gonna happen in March or February or January, then it makes all the sense in the world. The title fight, the bantamweight title fight, is happening 7 months after his win. Aljo fought on that card, and he's fighting someone else in May. And then by the time he's ready again, if it's in 7 months, that's in December. And if it's Henry Cejudo, he's not coming back anytime sooner either, unless this fight ends in 10 seconds, which I doubt it does. So I don't know how you guys feel, but don't like it at all. Don't like the way it was handled, and I feel like it just clogged everything up. I'd love to see Sean fight. I understand why he's sitting out. If I'm him, yeah, cool, but I feel like it was a little bit clunky.
Agree.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I agree with that mostly, but every time Sean fights, you're putting it at risk that you blow that opportunity to have him in a title fight. So I get it from the UFC's perspective, and I get it from his perspective. Like, it's kind of just how you got to do it if we want Sean O'Malley to get that shot. Like, every time
he's going to be sitting out for a year.
It's going to be a risk.
Sitting out for a year.
Everyone also says they put him on the back burner, but as soon as he gets a title shot, he's right back in the front of your mind, and everyone is going to tune in to watch that.
Oh,
completely agree with that.
Fine.
And also,
he's fine. I'm not talking about from his perspective. He's fine. He's always going to be popular. I just don't like the way it was handled from like.
Yeah, like I don't want him to sit out, like you said. If it was another 7 months, that's him sitting out for 15 months before we finally get to see him fight. Yeah, I don't love that.
I will say he's one of the ones who's big on the idea of like, you can do your work in the gym and don't necessarily only need to do it in the cage. Like, as we saw, he recommended that Raul Rosas Jr. take time off and build. And when he was on his suspension, he was doing his work in the gym and improving his skills. So I'm not worried necessarily about the long layoff for him from that perspective, because he seems to be somebody who uses that time wisely is the best way
I'm just talking about say it from like a sporting standpoint. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I don't like. He'll be popular. It'll be a big fight. They'll sell it. Blah blah blah. I'm just talking about from a sporting.
But we could have had other title.
The optics are weird.
Number one contenders.
Jan has fought since then. You know what I mean? Like, why does the first win, which was actually closer than the second win over Jan, mean more? You know, like all that is just weird.
Well, when it comes to Merab, he has nobody to blame but himself. That's a Merab situation. If Merab was fighting and active and calling out the champions, then he could have been fighting. Like, that's on Merab. That's
he's
not
getting
on
a
Sean
title
O'Malley.
shot. He's not getting a title shot.
If he was fighting and saying,
they're not giving him
a title shot,
they're not giving him a title shot over Sean. There's no way. No chance.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, but it doesn't help. You're making the case that like the division was active, but like active doing what? Like beating top contenders and then saying, I'm not going to fight Aljamain Sterling because he's my friend. Like, that's on him.
Listen, that could be a moot point in 16 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But he's not getting that fight either. You know what I mean? If Cejudo wins on May 6th.
No, it's always going to be O'Malley.
Yeah.
It's always going to be O'Malley.
So what does it matter what he says? David. Hola, Ariel. Your thoughts on Leon's stance on targeting October for his next title defense? Yeah, sure. I mean, why does he need to come back so soon? He fought in March. What does he need to come back in July for? That's 4 months. Against Kamaru? Listen, if you're not going to give him the fight that he wants, then let him pick the date. Now, if they're coming to London, do they need him? It depends. Is it a pay-per-view? Is it not a pay-per-view? If you've got Aspinall, if you've got Patty, if you've got these guys, you don't necessarily need him. But I have no problem. Listen, if he can't pick the freaking opponent, can he at least pick the date? I have no problem on that. Ben, hello, Ariel. What do you make of this Gilbert and Belal situation? I see where both guys are coming from. It's short notice. Belal in the middle of Ramadan, and is an extra few pounds for Gilbert really enough to be a deal? Can I tell you? I haven't paid attention to any of this. I don't know what is this. What is even like? I don't even. There's a long message here. What is the Gilbert and Belal situation? Them going back and forth and saying that they're ready to fight.
Yeah,
this is like this is like the Wish version of Fury Usyk.
That's exactly what it is.
Like who cares?
It's the Sheen version of Fury Usyk, 100%.
What are they?
They're just negotiating on Twitter, and nobody cares.
But by the way, they're not even like scheduled to fight each other. They're not even in like the same orbit right now. They want to do Shavkat and Belal. Gilbert just fought. Like, this is not even a thing. By the way, who's demanding this?
It's also 17
they're angling
days from now.
they're angling to slip in on the short notice card to, quote unquote, save it so that they can get the fight that they want, which is each other. But I mean, it just doesn't. And then
which the 288 card?
Gilbert,
the 288 card.
Gilbert shifts to Dustin Poirier. He's calling out Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Justin's like,
I'm good.
I can make it, but you got to pay me.
Said money talks.
Also, he's not a 170 pounder.
Paulo calling out Jan Blachowicz for 288.
Everyone wants that 288.
Jan replied just an hour ago saying, so a few days ago, Paulo Costa got offered to fight me.
Oh.
I said yes. He said no. The fight is off. How much juice does he need? One bottle of wine is enough to knock this guy out. So
wow. So Paulo moving up to 205?
Everybody's just kind of That's what he said, and then Jan said he said no. So everybody's angling to save 288, but it's mostly Twitter and not a lot of real action.
By the way, there's no real saving needed to be done here. I don't know what, like, I would not be shocked. It's not the main event that fell through, so I would not be shocked if they just keep it as is, to be honest with you. Maybe they give us, throw us a curveball here, but like there's no saving that. Do you remember back in the day there was a stretch, New York Rick, where it was like every week it felt like the main event fell through? Yep. That was when things needed to be saved. This doesn't need to be necessarily.
What was that, 2015? When was that?
Yeah, it was just a crazy stretch where every main event it seemed like fell through. Those fights needed to be saved. Those cards needed to be saved. This one doesn't necessarily need to be saved. So I don't know about that.
And as you spoke about, they're not super incentivized to do it either, right? Like, why pay for these? Right. Why pay these purses? Pay for these guys to come out when
tickets are sold?
They're just as fine to just continue as is.
I will say this though, I much prefer Gilbert Belal than Belal Shavkat. Gilbert Belal makes a lot more sense from a rankings and meritocracy standpoint than Shavkat Belal. So if I'm Belal, I am trying to get the Gilbert fight. And if Colby is fighting Leon, if I'm Gilbert, the Belal fight makes the most sense. So I don't know why they're so adamant on Shavkat versus Belal, to be honest. But, and honestly, when it comes to these things, I feel like it's just Ali like having fun and tweeting himself. Speaking of which, on Monday, all of a sudden I had Beneil Dariush coming after me. You guys see that?
Yeah.
It wasn't very Beneil Dariush-like.
I think it ended him saying that it was just a miscommunication, though.
Well, I guess what he was saying, I misunderstood initially where he was coming from, because I said, hey, what about Dustin versus Beneil? That would make a lot of sense. And as we talked about, I think it would make sense if Dustin wants a big fight, he beats Beneil, then he could get a title shot. And if Beneil needs a big fight, you beat Dustin, then you get a title shot. I mean, it just makes total sense. We just saw Arnold have 10 fights in a row and not get a title shot, and Beneil's on a shorter winning streak. And then he said something to the effect, I said the UFC tried to make this in the past, and then he said I was misinformed. And initially I was like, what do you mean I'm misinformed? This is just an idea. How could it be misinformed? But then he was talking about the second part of the tweet where I said the UFC tried to make this happen. If you guys remember, Dustin Poirier on this show said that they approached him about fighting Beneil Dariush in Abu Dhabi, and he said he didn't want to wait that long, so he wanted to get something earlier. Do you guys remember that? Am I crazy?
I do. Yep.
Yes.
No, I remember it.
So I'm like, what do you mean misinformed? He said it on my show, but then everyone was like, oh, you're making shit up. I'm like, what are you talking about making shit up? Dustin said it on my show. So then I came back and I corrected it, and he's like, and then people were saying you're backtracking. I'm like, what are you talking about backtracking? He said that they tried to make it. He, for whatever reason, didn't want it.
He didn't want it.
And then I reached out to him about this. I was like, would you take this? And he said, yeah, but no one's called me. So there was no misinformation whatsoever. I was just like, Beneil. And can I throw out a rule? Can I throw out a rule? This is a rule that I want to throw out. And apologies if it's a little spicy, but if you want to blame anyone, blame my Slack and Frank for the audio problems. If you're gonna listen to your manager about not talking to me and not coming on my show, do me a favor, don't tweet me. All right? Do me like that. That's wow. Don't tweet me. If you're not gonna come on the show and engage and have a good time and talk and do that, don't tweet me. Don't do the quote tweet, because A, I don't know if it's you. A, we saw what happened with Giga Chikadze, still maintained probably not him. And B, if I'm not good enough to come on my show, then don't try to slam dunk on me. All right? Don't try to posterize me. Just, I don't think that's cool. Is that too much to ask? If you're not going to come on the show, don't tweet me. That's it.
I think it's a fair request.
Yeah, I think the biggest fairness of the rule is you don't know if it's him or not.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a big one.
I usually do know if the English is pretty good. Like if it's not broken English, then we know it's, you can kind of you can smell it a mile away. But I used to text with Ali all the time, and it would be someone else texting on his behalf, and then I would be like, "This isn't Ali," and he'd be like, "Yep, it's not. It's his assistant." It was either Dan Ige or Puna. As weird as that is, which is weird. Like if you're texting someone, you got to tell them that you're texting on behalf of someone. Like what if I start telling you that I have I have some health issues, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean. It's like when you call someone and they're in the car and they don't tell you that you're on speakerphone and your whole family's in the car. Like, what the hell?
Yikes!
That's one of my big pet peeves. In any event, I walked away from that conversation thinking like, hey man, I'd love to have you on the show if you want to talk, but if you don't want to talk, like, why are we talking here? Is that too much? Is that mean? I don't know. You guys
It's
tell
fair.
me. Okay.
No, it's fair.
All right.
Completely fair.
Do you want to say something?
No.
All right.
Give up on it.
What was that? What do you want to say?
You can finish your sentence, Rick.
What?
Nope. Nothing
Yeah,
to add.
I didn't make sense of that either.
I don't know what's going on now.
Concussion?
Everyone okay?
What did you say?
Who? Who are you talking to?
Rick started up on something and then just dropped it.
Yeah, just dropped it
completely
mid-sentence.
stopped.
Sure.
He was like,
And
no.
that was for a reason, and now I say nothing, and we
And he
continue.
also just stared through the camera.
Okay, fine. Hands on. Hello, Ariel. Happy to see you back in studio. Thank you. Have you heard anything on a location or date for McGregor Chandler? Connor tweeted that he is in the pool to stay ready for the date. Did he do that? I didn't see that. Did you guys see that?
I think I saw that.
What are you eating?
I was a little ice cube. I put my prime on ice via Frank recommendation.
It's the only way.
Me and Frank have actually discovered we think orange is our favorite.
Literally the best.
That's hogwash.
Hogwash. Wow.
Yeah, we'll just take that case off your hands.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, orange is fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. It almost has like a little nostalgia flavor to it, like a tang or something.
Why is that nostalgic? Because you're from... No, that would be peach. Peach would make you nostalgic, right?
No. I used to just drink like
Orange juice.
powdered, orange drinks when I was younger. That's kind of what it tastes like.
Um,
What was the original question?
The question was about McGregor Chandler. I was actually going to say on Monday, one of the underrated things that wasn't talked about when they said that they are trying to make Jones Stipe in New York at MSG, which is the truth. Didn't we all say if they're not going to do Connor Chandler in the fall, then New York would make the most sense? They ain't putting Connor Chandler on the same card as Stipe and Jones.
No,
And so
so
if he-
December.
Oh, we're going to wait all the way to December. The show's going to end in August, and we're going to wait till December. That's unprecedented. Why does it have to be
What's
December,
the
by the way?
alternative? So what other month could it be?
If he's in the pool, well,
October is
Abu
Abu
Dhabi.
Dhabi.
if
Where's
he's in,
September?
I guess it depends on when he went. Initially, I'd heard September, by the way. But for September, he would have had to have been in the pool as of September, right? Excuse me, as of March.
Yeah, so December.
Well, we don't know when he got in the pool.
Yeah, we don't know when he got in the pool.
And listen, let's not pretend like they can't create a pay-per-view. They created one for Leon. for
That's true.
London.
They can't just go, hey, we're doubling up in November or whatever.
Curious,
Or October.
he writes, is there a chance this fight doesn't actually happen this year? What do you think the odds are it doesn't happen this year?
I mean, the fact that there's no talk about it and no seeming motion toward it, there's at least some chance, right?
Yeah, does feel weird. Also, good luck to GC this week with his picks. Oh, that's very nice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hoping he has a good week so he can upgrade to Vegas, to that Vegas flight to United or Delta.
I mean, we have some bad news on that.
Oh,
front.
what do we got? What do we got? Trip is off?
It's looking bleak. I get news from our very own TST.
Yeah?
He is no longer able to attend. That was kind of going to be my wingman for the trip. I reached out to Frank,
Yeah?
You know, B team.
Yeah?
B Team Frank. He can't go either. I
What's-
found out on Monday you and Rick can't go.
Can we tell them about the?
Actually, there's a chance I might go. There's a chance I might go.
There's a chance you might go, but yeah, I mean, you're gonna big league me. I'll
Of
see you
course.
in the hotels of the hallway. You'll be like, "Hey, what's up, kid? You want an autograph or something?"
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wait, you didn't say we actually had to like hang, but you're asking me if I could go.
That's why I want TST or Frank there. I need like a
need a-
companion that's gonna go to the Hall of Fame with me.
Oh, I'll go to the Hall of Fame. I love the Hall of Fame.
Then we can go to UFC X. Take pics with fighters. Then we'll go to the fights together. I kind of need that wingman, And now the Troy thing hurt. I mean, that hurt its case a lot.
Did he give a reason? Maybe not suitable for
yes,
air?
and I will say, won't say it on air. Very, very
a good
valid
reason.
Yes,
Troy
it's
let you
it's a
down.
very
Fair
good
enough.
reason.
Wow. What was that?
Yeah.
Just saying how
Wow.
good of a reason it was. It completely makes sense. And then you're just gonna dog him like that.
Just ask a question.
I have
The
a
audio
question.
wars of 2023.
Okay, I have a
Jeez.
question for you. If you find out that Connor Chandler happens in September, you've never been to Vegas.
If I found out Connor Chandler, then we would just move the goalpost 2 months, and just go in
Okay, but is there a part of you that wants the whole IFW experience?
There's not a part of me that wants that. All of me wants that, but I can't do that by myself.
Okay, but no, here's the thing. Forget the by yourself component.
Okay.
If you
Which
find
is a
out,
big component.
Sure, but if you find out, let's say in a month, Connor Chandler is happening September 12th. I'm making up a date, so please.
Yeah.
And
Somebody's going to aggregate this for sure.
1,000%. Just flip that up. It's happening September 12th. Breaking, colon, exclamation
I
point.
think September 12th is a Tuesday. So
Perfect. Wouldn't that be amazing, by the way? A rare Tuesday event? That'd be kind of cool.
they just shape this
Honestly,
all around
if anybody
clip
could
right
do
here.
it, if anybody could do it, Conor McGregor could say, I just want to fight on a Tuesday. And that's that.
The point is, if you find out in a month, and now you've got someone who's willing to go with you in July and someone who's willing to go with you in September, but you only get one chance to go to Vegas for the first time, and you're not going to go in July and September, which one are you holding out for?
McGregor.
So maybe
You just don't know how many times you're going to get a McGregor fight, and like it'll just be so big. And I have two friends that are standing by for when that fight gets announced that are diehard Michael Chandler fans.
Oh, wow.
And they're like standing by. They're 100% going to be there.
So the question is, maybe the statement is, or maybe the the byproduct of all of this is, perhaps it's a silver lining, because that fight is going to happen, we assume, right?
I think it will. Also, I will be, deeply ingrained in the tough season, have a little bit more emotions in it. Right now, we're TBD. I'm glad I almost booked everything last week, and then I would have gotten the news bomb from Troy. It would have been an ugly situation.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to book them at?
So if you don't get a +1, you're out.
If I don't have a +1, yes, I'm out. I can't.
We have
do it
footage.
by myself.
We have footage from July 4th, 2022, of you saying, "Come hell or high water, you're at International Fight Week 2023." You said this. I remember you saying it. You were wearing the Macho Man Randy Savage outfit.
Yes, I've been in on this all year long. I guess I was being naive, assuming that I would
Everyone
just have
would be
one
there
coming with me.
So everyone screwed you.
Connor changed his mind?
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow, Frank is spicy today.
Asking questions.
Sorry, no, I couldn't.
Listen, I feel a strong guilt about it.
I couldn't hear that second thing that Frank said because I was playing with the knobs here. What was that? You said Connor what?
I mean, me and Frank, we had some planning going last night. We were going back and forth. He was like, "You'd split a hotel." I'm like, "I'm down. Let's do it."
Oh, you guys gonna share a room?
Listen, man, we don't make the
Nightmare.
bucks like that. All right, we don't
Nightmare.
make the big bucks like that. I'm gonna take
Nightmare.
Spirit Economy middle seat.
Oh my God.
We'll have a layover, and then me and Frank will share.
We
on
just
it.
started
I did find
GoFundMe.
airline tickets that were half the price. So
Yeah,
we're
he
staying
fa-
on Monday.
Yeah, he found some good deals on some airline tickets. So I was like, "Let's book it. I'm down." And then he walks to my desk. First thing he says to me this morning, "No, good morning." Just a knuckle bump, and he was just like, "Can't do International Fight Week. Sorry, man."
And why is that, Frank?
Going to Toronto in September. Have family visiting
What
in
is it?
July.
No, he also, with Troy, has a good reason. So, yeah, real convenient. They have good reasons, so I can't guilt trip them.
Yeah, well, you still
Oh,
guilt
you
trip them.
can. Look at Ariel.
Yeah, of course. And all right, what about and then what about the significant other? What about your girlfriend? She doesn't want to go.
She will be at Wimbledon.
I mean,
Perfect storm.
well, where are the priorities? You know,
Where are you?
I mean,
not
International
going?
Fight Week?
She gets paid to go to Wimbledon.
Sure. Yeah.
Be nice if, we cook something up. I could get paid to go to IFW.
Wimbledon.
And this would all be a moot point.
Wimbledon 2023. It's right smack dab in the middle there.
Right
yeah.
smack dab, yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, I asked. I thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been asking everyone. I hit up my mom and dad. They don't even like UFC.
I feel like we could figure this out. I feel like we could figure this out.
I just hope that McGregor.
But to your
and
point,
Chandler's
maybe it's not
on
worth
September
figuring
15th.
out.
Maybe it's not worth figuring out.
Maybe you wait. Maybe you wait.
Sorry, just playing.
Yeah, I mean,
this out.
it's we just need this. Let's get this Connor announcement on the books.
Yeah,
and I
that
can
would-
feel a lot better about it.
All right, here's Manji. Ayu Bo Wan Ariel. Has Max Holloway surpassed BJ Penn as the best fighter to come out of Hawaii? Wow. BJ Penn, UFC lightweight and welterweight champion, 3 lightweight title defenses. Max Holloway, featherweight champion, 3 featherweight title defenses. I'm going to see, it's tough because when you talk to the younger demo, they'll say, oh, BJ was a scrub, this and that. I still got to give the nod to BJ because BJ in his prime was, in my opinion, if not 1, number 2 pound for pound, 2-division world champion. I suspect New York Rick agrees with me.
I actually disagree.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Max Holloway has surpassed BJ Penn?
The career resume just it has surpassed.
Wow.
It pains me.
2-division
I
world
think-
champion.
Listen, the accolades are there. The BJ has done things that Max was not able to do. But man, the numbers, the cage time, the significant strikes, the number of championship fights, like he's done it. He's done it. And I'm sure he was inspired by BJ Penn, and there's the lineage there, but I have to say, I think Max is the guy. I think Max is the best
BJ in
Alliance.
his prime was so good. Doesn't have the winning streak.
Well, that's the combo, right? Like in his prime, I think BJ Penn was the best of the best, the best of the very best. But if we're talking like career resumes, like the body of work, Max Holloway has put in some damn work, man.
It is crazy. Also, he's just 31, turning 32 in December. The question is, how much does the end of the career hurt BJ? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losses in a row plus a draw. So he was winless in his last 8 fights.
It hurts a lot. It hurts a lot. You can when you're the BJ Penns, the Anderson Silvas, the GSPs, the Fedors, you can only do damage at the end of the career. You're very rarely adding on. GSP was the rare exception where like he cherry picks that one title fight, gets it, and wins it. BJ Penn, Anderson Silva, Fedor, I think they did some real damage to their careers after they peaked. So yeah, it hurts. It really does hurt the resume.
That's a really tough one. I still lean towards BJ for the history, but the stats and everything would always say Max.
Unless Max gets a second belt, that will be a significant thing that he holds. He was up there fighting the top welterweights and was able to achieve a championship in a weight class up. Fought Lyoto Machida at a weight class at multiple weight classes higher. Like there's no doubt BJ was game, but just in terms of the body of work that Max has put in over his UFC career, over his MMA career, and he's only 31, right? I think we said he's got time left. He's going to just keep adding and adding and adding to it. It's hard to deny that Max has.
Can we put it on the poll? Who's the greatest fighter to come out of Hawaii? Who's the greatest fighter to come out of Hawaii? BJ Penn or Max Holloway? Can we do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
Like Guillermo, no.
What else do we want on there? Brad Tavares, Kai Kamaka,
Puna, Cooper,
Alimale.
Shout out, Bellator's in Hawaii. They figured it out. They figured out how to go to Hawaii. Yeah,
Two
they
shows.
figured it out.
Okay, that's not fair.
They
That's
figured
not
it
fair.
out. What?
That's not fair.
What?
Those are not the same thing. Those are not the same thing.
They figured it out.
Yeah, they figured it out, but that's not the same. That's not the same thing. That's not the same.
They figured it out. What are you talking about? They figured it out. By the way,
yeah, they figured it out.
Here's a take for you. The best fight, obviously, Tank Garcia is the best fight, period. But the best MMA fight of the weekend is Patchy Mix, Rafion Stotts. Not even a hot take, right?
No, I agree 100% with that. That is a tremendous fight.
Oh yeah, love that fight. I kind of wish it was on Friday, not at the same time as Tank Garcia, but.
I mean, yeah, Pavlovich and Blades is
a great fight.
Pretty damn.
Well, that's why I think it's
damn
somewhat
good.
of a hot take, but I can't wait for.
But
those.
no, I'm more. I'll say this: I'm more interested in Mix and Stotts.
Cheeto Pancakes, what's up, Ariel? Because we've gotten a few additional shows outside of the glamorous Apex recently, we've seen multiple fighters able to fight in front of their hometown crowd, which has me wondering. What are some of the most memorable homecomings in MMA that come to mind? Which was the loudest pop for a hometown fighter? Well, I just mentioned this day, 15 years ago, April 19, 2008, GSP in Montreal was freaking electric. Like I said, I wasn't there, but I was there for 124. I was there for 158. I was there for 154. All of those were insane. The Montreal crowds were always insane. Stipe in Cleveland, insane. Such a shame they never went back there. That was unbelievable. Connor in Dublin up there as well. That was gigantic. Let me see other ones that come to mind. Anything else that really comes to mind? I'm sure there are a ton. I mean, when Ronda would come out in her prime, that was big time stuff. Trying trying to think who would be at heavyweight. Kane, not really. Anderson, Brazil, pretty big time. UFC 134, was also there for whatever the Bonner one was. Was that 153? 153? GSP I mentioned. Never got BJ in Hawaii, unfortunately. That would have been incredible. So yeah, those are a few that come to mind. Just deafening. Stipe in Cleveland was deafening. That was amazing. Connor from Canada. Hey, Ariel, in a recent interview with The Score, DJ hinted that his next fight might actually be his last fight. If that was the case, could you enlighten some of the newer fans about his legacy and what he has meant to the sport? In my opinion, he's the most underrated MMA great and belongs in any GOAT convo. Yes, I saw this article, and of course, Demetrius Johnson is going to be in studio at right here at 3:15, so we'll ask him about all of this. I do think, this is the quote, asked if he would keep fighting for 2 more years. DJ said, absolutely not. That's not fucking happening. I'll tell you that. That's not happening. Fuck no. On May 5th, potentially being his final MMA fight, DJ said, I think after this fight, I'll decide what I want to do. I want to compete in IBJJF in my gi and work toward my black belt, but I don't want to fight for 2 more years. I have no interest. When I hear 2 more years, I'm like, ooh, that sounds horrible. So yeah, I guess it's possible. One of the greatest ever. Without him, there's probably no flyweight division. One of the greatest champions ever, one of the greatest title runs ever, one of the most technically sound fighters ever, one of the quickest fighters ever, one of the most talented fighters ever. Obviously wasn't the biggest draw and was a part of that historic quote-unquote trade with one championship and Ben Askren. But a guy who, was just so freaking technically sound and so good and worked so hard and had a nice run at 135 as well, but 125 was his home. Never popped, never cheated, never did anything like that, represented the sport great. Watching him in Seattle was fun. He's from the Washington area. That was fun back in the day. So yeah, I always appreciated Demetrius. Always great to me, always great as a guest coming on. Tremendous run, Hall of Fame run. If there's ever a real Hall of Fame, he would be a shoo-in, no doubt about it. Eric, Shalom, Ariel, and crew. On Monday's show, Zach Cummings really took me by surprise with his amiable and marketable personality. Had he been younger, he could have been very popular with the fans. He's been around for a while, and I've been watching him for many years, but he never seemed to break through to the masses. My question is this: what can fighters like him, who are very marketable but don't get the promotional push, do to build their brand and gain deserved notoriety so that they don't fly under the radar as much? Thank you so much, your friend Eric. Here's a suggestion: do media. Come on this show. That would help. Don't listen to your manager if he tells you not to come on this show. Did you know there was? Did you guys know that there was a Game Bred boxing card 18 days ago in Milwaukee? You guys knew this, right? We talked about it with Jorge.
Yeah.
Anthony Pettis, Roy Jones. I was like, I like Jorge. I want to get, I want to help out. So I was like, hey, could we get Jose Aldo on the show to talk about his fight against Jeremy Stevens? They're like, oh yes, that's a great idea. We'll do it. And then I was told he can't come on. I was like, that's weird. Jose Aldo, like, we go way back. I first interviewed him in 2009 after he beat Mike Brown in WC, and maybe even before that, before he fought for the belt. And I was like, well, that's weird. Why can't he join? And you know what I was told? I was told that his manager, and you can guess who it is, his new manager, so that might, said that he can't go on the show. I was like, this is the dumbest shit ever. First of all, the long-standing relationship that I have with them. But first of all, and I like the Game Bred guys, and I told them this, I can't believe you guys are letting this happen. You are paying him a lot of money, and you need the promotional, buzz. And I can't even believe that Jose is listening to this. The whole thing is just crazy. So to get back to this, like, you are your own person. You pay your do what is best for you. Now, maybe it's not doing interviews on shows like this. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's doing what Sadiq Youssef does. Maybe it's thinking outside the box on social media. Yasmin Yesadavicius, she's doing stuff like you gotta You got to be active on social media. You got to have cool videos and graphics and all that stuff. It's not just about fighting, unless you're just, look at O'Malley. O'Malley has a great personality and a great look, but he's doing a YouTube show and he's active on social media and he's got a podcast. Like, all these things matter. You got to do that. What is it? New media, they call it in the NBA. You gotta embrace the new media. Aaron. Hello, Mr. Helwani. I have a great deal of admiration for your ability to break down a storyline. The way you walked us from the first UFC Izzy fight with Pereira to the win last week was unreal. The attention to detail and breaking down the little moments was truly impressive. I'm curious as to if that's off the top of your head or if you have some sort of preparation process. Either way, you're the man. You inspire me to be a better host. Aaron Pete, he always sends such nice messages. And he's got a blog on Substack called Writes Big Talk with Aaron Pete. So go check him out and support him. I appreciate you very much. For the most part, I think you're talking about when I was at my parents' house last Monday. That was off the top of my head. There are times when I'm going to go on like a long soliloquy where I'll put like keywords just on the screen here just so I can remember the chronological order. But as I've said, with the interviews and all that, I don't write questions down. And like this week, I have nothing written down. One thing that has been a big help is GC peruses social media and finds little nuggets about things and lets me know what those things are. And I'll ask, questions about that. That has helped me out a lot, especially since in the past, like I would peruse. So this has helped me out a lot. But other than that, it's really just about like living and breathing it, right? And staying on top of it. And so if someone walked in right now, if Beneil Dariush walked in right now, we could do a 30-minute interview easy. It's just about, staying ready so you don't have to
get ready.
Thomas, what's up, Ariel? I've been watching a good amount of PFL recently, and I've noticed the production needs some work. Interesting. Why between rounds or after fights is there just a shot of the cage with the music in the stadium playing in the background? I really enjoy the broadcast team, especially Ken Flo, so why can't we hear them talking or hear some corner advice between rounds? It really downgrades the product. My question is, why don't they make this seemingly easy fix to greatly improve the overall product? Vivi Hilwani, I think that you may be watching the ESPN Plus stream or feed, and I think when they're going to commercial on other, platforms or areas, you just get that feed and you just get the cage shot. That's not really, like, you can't really knock them for that. They're in different markets and countries, and I'm pretty sure that's the reason for that. If you're talking about the actual fight broadcast, like when it's actually going down, I think they're pretty buttoned up. I agree
with that.
Are there things like, I was surprised initially. He was like, what? You can complain about others, but it's a different broadcast. It's a fresh broadcast. There's different wrinkles. I can't really
PFL prioritizes broadcasts. Like they
it's much more of a broadcast product than a live product.
Yeah, they put a good sheen on that. And to the other point about, like, you're right, that it's them cutting to commercials and doing other things for the different places that it airs. But like, you're never going to get the announcers' mics live during that time. It's always going to be down because they're going to be chopping it up, talking about something that you're not supposed to be privy to. So they're never just going to leave hot mics like that.
Oh, very dangerous.
While
you got to give them a second to talk and all that. Yeah,
they're going between. So you're just, imagine it was blacked out instead of the cage. They're just showing you something so that you're seeing something instead of nothing. It's literally
and give me
just
that over seeing the Burger King commercial for
the
7,000th time. Hello, Ariel and gang. This is from Frankie. I've finally been able to catch up on the newest basketball podcast sensation, the Ariel Helwani Basketball Show. Thank you. Another fantastic product as expected, but I do have beef with one thing that you said in the Harvey Aratone episode. Interesting. Harvey is one of the greatest basketball writers of all time of the New York Times. Legend. It was great to have him on. You said in a city, New York, where there have been a ton of iconic captains, that Willis Reed is the captain. I do have all the respect in the world for the late, great Willis Reed, but as someone who was born and raised in New York, I think you've got to go with number 2, Derek Jeter, as the city's favorite captain. I'm curious what you and the guys' thoughts on this are. Thank you for all the consistent work. I would imagine that you're a little bit younger, and that's fine, and maybe to your generation, Jeter is the captain, but to me, Willis Reed's nickname is the captain, and they were still calling him the captain until the day he died. Is that necessarily the case with Jeter? Maybe. I just think, and perhaps I'm showing my bias here, perhaps I'm I'm more of a basketball fan than a baseball fan. I love baseball, but obviously the Knicks in basketball are number one. To me, Willis Reed is New York's captain. They still call him the captain. Yeah.
For what it's worth, they also called Jeter the captain. Like his ESPN series was the captain.
In
like
the same,
he's the
but
captain.
in the same way though, like,
Yeah.
hey, what's up, Captain? Or do they call him DJ? Do they call him Derek? Like Willis, I feel like Captain was his name. Captain.
Yeah, he's the captain.
Yeah, I think if you ask the Yankees fan, they're going to say Derek Jeter is the captain, and if you ask a Knicks fan,
yeah,
they're going to say Willis Reed.
What the key is, you got to find
think
somebody who's as
age, too.
hardcore about both.
I mean,
Who's as hardcore
I
about
feel like
both
I'm pretty hardcore, but okay. So as a New
about
Yorker,
the Yankees?
no, both sports.
I'm saying the Yankees and the Knicks. You have to be a fan of the Yankees and the Knicks, and then
Which
you'll see who's
there
the
are
captain.
Plenty of people that are both of those things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who's the true captain?
I can text my chain. I'll have an update later in the show.
please text your chain. But also, as a New Yorker who isn't a fan of either team, New York Rick, when I say the captain, who's the captain?
Jeter, but that might be an age thing, right?
Yeah, you're too
like
young.
for me, Jeter's entire career played out when I was growing up. So for me, it's Jeter. But I also recognize, like, for somebody who's older than me, like Willis Reed was the captain.
All right.
So yeah, generationally, for me, it's Jeter.
Sure. Quick update on the poll.
Oh yeah.
Best Hawaiian fighter of all time, Max Holloway, 78% of the vote.
Okay, so I feel like this is kind of like the Willis Reed, Derek Jeter thing,
Okay.
right? No, I mean, how many of the people that are voting actually saw BJ in his prime?
Yeah, probably not.
Probably
that many.
none. Probably none.
You know what? Delete the poll. I don't care what these people think. Just joking.
I'll leave it open for a few.
I'm kidding.
Should we start a new poll? Who's the real captain? Derek
Yes.
Jeter or
Can we
Willis
do?
Reed?
Can we do two polls at the same time?
And at the same time, we're gonna have to take down the Hawaiian one.
All right. Well,
I mean, that's a closed. That's a closed shut.
That's pretty much
case.
stop the count.
I mean, 78%. Yeah, stop the count. It's over. There's no coming back for BJ Penn there.
Mark Douglas. Hey, fellas, longtime listener, first-time question asker here. I have a question for GC. I'm preparing for my first half marathon in May. Punishment via losing my fantasy football league. Jeez Louise. They're making him do that. And the only thing getting me through it is knowing I have a Sunday full of degenerate activities awaiting me once I cross the finish line. My question for GC is the post-half marathon feeling one that will allow for a day of bar hopping, or will I just want to lay on my couch all day and just eat carbs? Thanks for making the work days less dreary, boys. Cheers. Well, first off, good luck to you, my friend.
Yes.
And drop some knowledge. As
Well,
someone who just ran one.
second of all, love that that's the fantasy football punishment. I'm hoping that his entire league is going to be there to cheer him on, and then they're all going to do like this bar hopping that he's talking about together. Now, here's the thing: is he talking about the afternoon of running the half marathon? That's when he's doing the bar hopping. If that's the case, I would say no. Like when I ran my half marathon, I got home as quick as I could, sat on my couch, watched TV, and ate food for the rest of the day. The day after, though, like if he's running it on Saturday and then he's going to do this degeneracy on Sunday, then it's going to be perfect. Like the endorphins are going to be high. You're not going to feel like you're going to need to work out for a week. You're going to be sore, but it's the good kind of sore. If it's the day of, that's a tough ask. Like you're probably going to be tired. You're going to be sleepy, hungry. I feel like you're not going to want to do the bar hopping.
Yeah, the bar hopping sounds like a nightmare. You'll be
Day
around.
after is where it's at.
Listen, I've never ran a half marathon, but to me, doesn't it feel like the move is like you just want to go home, sit on your couch, and like get delivery and eat a ton of food, right?
Yes, that's what I would do. And
What
then
did you
the
eat?
next day you can do it. There is a place in New York called Bob White's Counter.
Okay.
It's like chicken sandwiches, wraps, mac and cheese. Yeah, I got like a double order so I could eat it for lunch and then also dinner.
Wow. Same thing?
Yeah, no. Did a wrap for lunch, spicy chicken sandwich for dinner.
I love it.
Shout out to
Mac and
their
cheese, fries.
thighs.
Yeah, Frank went there one time with me. I got this whole meal and he's like, could you just order me one chicken thigh, please?
Just one?
It
Yeah.
was delicious.
Can you even do such a thing?
Yeah, you can. It was like $3.95, it was like a little side order, but
Why chicken thigh and not like
it was a little weird.
why
I
the
don't understand
thigh?
why it's so weird. It tastes good.
You think it tastes better than like the leg or something like that?
Oh, for sure. The leg has
this
to be,
place
like,
is also,
tendons.
it's way better for like their sandwiches and wraps than it is
That thigh was
for...
amazing. I don't.
Well, the whole place is amazing. I mean, I highly recommend it. There's also one in Jersey City, which was, welcomed when I realized I was moving. But yeah, Bob White's Counter, shout out.
Also, shout out to Jersey City at the White Eagle Hall.
Yeah, White Eagle Hall.
Big Canada versus USA matchup this Friday.
You'll be nowhere to be found.
There's been some talks of a GC sighting, no? Or
I'm trying to get Frank to come with me.
oh,
I
for
wasn't
fuck's!
invited.
I mean, this is the
He's
story.
like, I wasn't invited.
What are you talking about, Frank? Of course you were invited.
That's what he said.
You're not as like vocal about your love of darts, so they specifically, my guy Dylan said, GC, please tell him he's invited and he can bring whoever he wants. There was no like.
That's a new detail.
There was no Frank is not invited.
I wasn't. First of all, I wasn't invited. I was just like, I don't know if I can go.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I
Well,
don't
that's
know
a
if
different
they'll
story.
Welcome me there.
Saturday I can't. That's a for sure.
Showface Friday
Friday I can.
could be fun.
I think
Of course,
it'll definitely
this
work.
gets us ready for the big showdown
All right,
in June.
There it is. There it is. Frankie just committed.
Did you commit, Frank? I didn't hear
Said
that.
I can make a Friday work.
Wow.
Way I'm going to be parking my car outside the White Eagle Hall, and he's going to text me and be like, "Sorry, I got to beat Metroid Prime
Yeah.
2 again. Sorry."
All right, we'll see
The
if he shows up.
Metroid Prime 2. Legendary.
Rami, Ariel, I attended my first ever UFC event in KC last weekend, and holy crap, it was a blast. I got to meet Ben the Bane, Jeff Molina, Michel Pereira, and Julian Marquez. How about Ben the Bane getting a mention in that? That's tremendous. Good on
Number
him.
one
Not
Yeah.
on the
to
list.
mention yet, but it's the first one.
Where did you meet him? In the line to get a hot dog? I mean, that's incredible. Well done. All things considered, the thing that stuck out to me the most was the canvas. No, not the stupid monster bottle in the middle of the ring, but how freaking loud it was. Every time someone stomped, slammed, or jumped, we heard a loud boom. Wondering, do they mic it up to add to the experience? They do. Or is the ring just naturally freaking loud? No, they mic it up. That's a pro wrestling thing as well. They mic it up. So if you go to a pro wrestling show and you there's mics all under and above as well. So yeah.
I actually have a thought on that. When I went to my first show last July, Ricky Simone unfortunately body slammed Jack Shore, and it was like so loud it echoed through the arena. It was crazy. I was blown away at how loud
Yeah.
it was.
By the way, shout out to Ricky Simone headlining next weekend's card against Song Yadong. And shout out to Irene Aldana headlining against Raquel Pennington, the highly anticipated, much demanded rematch. Yeah.
Yeah, much demanded. Looking forward to that one.
Chase, what's up, Ariel? I'm watching the Lee Murray documentary, and the part about his street fight with Tito has me wondering who to believe. All of Lee's people talk like he's the greatest fighter ever and could do no wrong in life. So I have little trouble believing their side of the story. And then you have Chuck saying he would never stand up for Tito, but says he never saw him get knocked out, which has me leaning towards believing Tito's side. So my question is, have you talked about the street fight to anyone who's involved, and which side do you think is true? Probably A and B. Well, we've talked about it in the past. You're right. And the documentary is tremendous, and I haven't seen the whole thing just yet. It's called Catching Lightning. It's by Pat Condellis and his whole team, and they've done a great job. And there's more insight and information in that than on anything that has ever been done on Lee Murray and his story. Of course, biggest bank heist in UK history. The story has been told, and there's a great part in the first episode about the infamous street fight near the Royal Albert Hall in England, where the first UFC event in England took place back in 2000, I think it's 4 off the top of my head. And who knows? There's a little bit of this, there's a little bit of that. Clearly there was a melee. Clearly there was a fight. Has it been embellished over time? Perhaps. But does it really matter? I guess the thing that Tito doesn't like is that he wasn't knocked out. He says he wasn't knocked out, and then other people said he was knocked out cold. It's impossible for me to know. I wasn't there. But it does add to the myth. And it is a great part of the doc and a great story. So highly recommend you check it out. Jamal 2020, aloha Ariel. Coming off a great fight week in Kansas City, and all this talk about BBQ got me hungry. But it reminded me of a big pet peeve. I hate when a friend invites everyone over for a summer BBQ, but when you show up, there are only hot dogs and hamburgers. This is just grilling. To be considered a barbecue, top scientists agree that you must have ribs, chicken, sausage, brisket, pulled pork, or turkey leg. What do you think? Is there a meat expectation for an official barbecue? I know GC will be on my side. I'll just weigh in quickly. If you tell me there's a barbecue, maybe I'm low maintenance. I'm just expecting hamburger, hot dog. I'm not expecting freaking ribs and sausage and brisket and pulled pork. Like that's like going to an actual barbecue restaurant. There's a difference between a backyard barbecue and going to an actual barbecue restaurant. I would say that if you're expecting the latter, the chicken, the sausage, the brisket, the pulled pork, you're a little bit hoity-toity. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I don't think it's hoity-toity. I think it's a regional. I've discovered this. It's a regional thing. Where you
Yes.
grow up determines what you like. I'm New York through and through. Here, when you say come over and we'll barbecue, it's the hot dogs, it's the hamburgers. It doesn't need
That's
to
it.
be like ribs and
It's
and
not even
wings
like
and
the
things.
mac and cheese and all that stuff that people talk about. It's really
But-
just those two things.
I have said to people who are not from New York, who are not East Coasters, maybe Midwest or even West Coast or South, come over and we'll barbecue. And they were not on the same page. They were expecting the ribs and they were expecting. And so
Jeez.
I've discovered
So they were
that this is
disappointed.
regional. This is regional.
When
Well, we
y'all-
talked it out before it happened. I was like, okay, I'll buy this. They'll buy this. They're like, well, what about this? And I'm
Wow.
like, oh, I can't do ribs. I'm not basting.
That's a whole
and, like, doing all
process.
this
You got to
stuff.
get like a
I don't know.
smoker.
When you guys say barbecue like that, I just think of like grilling out. Like, come over, we'll just grill out.
And there's
We'll
a
just
grill and there's
we'll
barbecue.
just grill.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
like
what
barbecue.
I've-
Like I'm thinking a big fancy get together, like a lot of
Absolutely.
people. There's
Yeah.
going to be side dishes. There's going to be extravagant meats. I think I lean with this guy. Like what you guys are saying, just throwing a couple hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill. I just like, yeah, come over, we'll grill out, we'll have a good time, we'll hang out.
Yeah, I've learned. You got to call it
You don't throw
grilling,
BBQ
not barbecue.
around unless you're
Yeah,
ready to
barbecue
bring it.
is that's a big one.
Barbecue means like you go. There's like a grill and then you barbecue.
I'm
No,
with-
you have a
I'm with
smoker.
you.
You've been up
When
since
you
4
say
in the
barbecue, I'm
morning.
thinking like a cookout, like a full thing where there's going to be a lot of people, big coolers full of drinks, a lot of side dishes, maybe some games. There's a pool.
It will be that, but the meat, the food in question, I'm thinking low level hot dogs, hamburgers. You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
that you
yeah.
can
I
Feels
cook
like
up
that's
quick
like
on
a
the grill.
cookout party. Like that's like a whole like
And not
neighborhood
that.
block
That's
party.
what I
that you-
think of. Yeah, when you say barbecue, I think party.
I feel like that's a southern thing.
Yeah, I think
Got the
that's what Rick
smoker.
just
It's
reiterated.
regional.
Why do you keep talking about the
regional.
smoker, Frank? What is it? What is it? Do you have a smoker?
Yep.
No, you don't. There's no chance you do.
Biggest smoker in New York City.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
By the way, no one who lives in Brooklyn has a smoker. There's no chance.
Frank doesn't even have an
Talking to the
oven.
one,
You have an egg one? The egg?
The green egg.
Yeah.
The green egg.
the green egg smoker.
Yeah. You're right. Number 7. Ariel from Chad. I have tickets to 288 and my heart dropped when I heard Charlie Olives and Benny Dariush was off the card. Please tell me something else is in the works for this card. My sanity depends on it. Thank you, your fellow mensch, Chad. As of right this second, I haven't heard anything. Doesn't mean it's not happening. Doesn't mean it's not in the works, but I also wouldn't be shocked if nothing happens, to be honest. So, look, you're getting a pay-per-view. You're getting a tremendous main event. I love the main event. Solid fights on the main card. You know, Newark wasn't at the top of the list. You know, you gotta take what you can get. Them's the breaks. I think the main event is great. I love the main event. And as of right now, I haven't heard of a backup, but maybe there will be one. Here it is, number 20, Hussein. Salam alaikum, Ariel. Wa alaikum salam. My question today is about the wall of immortalisation behind you. The fighters on the wall have done exceptional things, no doubt. But what does a fan of the show / of you need to do to warrant getting up there? For a short-term rental, of course, a fan is unlikely to be immortalized. P.S. Your boy here was the inaugural Helwani boxing champion. So if a Helwani Hall of Fame ever starts up, don't gents pulver me. I'm a pioneer of the game. I don't know how he was the Helwani boxing champion, to be honest, but incredible. I really don't know how that's how he did that. What did I do a Helwani boxing? I don't even know.
Magic.
Yeah, but anyway, shout out. How could a fan be more? I don't know. I guess we could think of something, right? Like we could do a contest, a thing for charity. Never really thought of that. I bet that we can. Do you think people would pay top dollar to get their face on the wall? UFC is letting people put their names on the mat.
Yeah, this is our version of that.
It's not a bad idea, except ours will go to charity. They're just pocketing it. I feel like we
Love
can
it.
think of something. Yeah. What could we do? A good charity. And isn't there like a sort of GoFundMe version of a charity auction that you can do? Like you set it up, people pay, they make their bids, and then the winner, you know, the highest bidder wins. Isn't there some sort of thing like that? Isn't there a website that does that? Or am I
I
crazy?
can't confirm that, but yeah, I would imagine there is someone
feel like
out there that does something like that.
We'll look into that. I don't hate it. The wheels are turning. Last one's a two-parter. Young Drewski says, "Hey, Ariel, long time, first time. Hello. 2 questions for you this week. The past 2 weeks saw you doing the show from outside the studio. With the scare you had at your parents' power going out and you scrambling last second to your sister's house, is there a protocol for the power connection going out mid-show? Who would take the helm until you could log back in? Now, does he mean if I'm away? Or does he mean in general? Like, what if the power went out here? I guess the show would just be paused, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I guess what he's saying is, what if I was away and the power went out? Like, what would happen? It's a great question. We didn't really talk about this. Like, what if it was 2:30 and the power just went out in the middle of my interview with Eugene Behrman? What would happen? What would you guys do?
We did discuss maybe Connor or Rick taking over for a little bit.
Would Connor or Rick do the interview? Would they be like, well, Ariel's not here, so
Absolutely not.
why?
No, we said if you were in the middle of an interview, we'd be like, whoever you're interviewing, Ariel just lost power.
See you later. Take a hike.
Hold with us briefly as we figure this out. Now, if you were just rambling like you are right now,
Wow.
me and Rick would have just got on and just started chatting it up, gave
Okay.
our hottest takes on whatever's hot in the streets right now.
Okay.
Which would be probably the power in Montreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'd probably start joking about how your power went out mid-show and why
No, I mean, it was.
everyone should be in the office.
Trust me, I was sweating about that among, because we have great internet here. We used to, do you remember back in the day at New York, Rick, when we were in the space station? Like, I remember one particular episode with Rogan, and our internet was bad. Do you remember that?
We used to have frequent internet kind of like down moments.
It was because we were just using like regular internet. We weren't using industrial internet.
An
Yeah.
all-time clip that I've seen is the John Jones having to sit
Yes,
in the control room, like how I'm sitting right here and it's John Jones.
And the internet was fucking horrible. No, that was the look. For that one episode, the look was the control room.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Anyway, the last question is for Mysterious Frank. How about that? I will admit I'm a novice when it comes to audio issues, but how does this happen? If the connection is good, the podcast before, what would cause the connection to get bad the next part? This is a great question. I didn't even realize this was the question. Appreciate your time. Thanks for helping me and my day go by super quick. Drew, what do you have to say, Mysterious Frank?
I'm
Why
not even
is,
sure what they're asking.
he's saying, how could the audio be bad if it was good the last time we used it? Like, what has changed?
Oh man, there's a whole laundry list of things.
Yeah, and come on.
We're I don't think we should get into all that.
Well, I mean, it is a very good question.
Look, there's a whole department that handles the studio's upkeep, and they have to maintain things on a daily basis, and sometimes changes happen, and we just have to adapt to the changes.
Okay, all right. That was a very PC response, by the way.
Yeah, why don't you just say it like it is?
Yeah, I don't know
Where's
what you're
that?
so worried
It's
about.
Soft.
I'm on Frank's side here.
depend on that department strongly.
Yeah,
And the last
as-
thing I'm going to do is say some sort of, like I'm ungrateful.
Yeah,
Like,
defamatory
No, but-
statement about them. They're listening right now. I can guarantee that.
No, they're
Oh,
not.
they're-
I don't.
They're
They're
gonna hear about
always
this.
listening.
There's no chance they're listening.
I mean, we
I
were
don't even
rehearsing one day
necessarily
and they were
mean
just like,
that.
oh, yeah, by the way, guys, remember, it's always going in the old green room.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, what did we say for the last 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't even mean that. Clap back at this clown who's asking you like it's
Oh.
like set it and forget it.
I
Like
mean,
tell them to
Everything's got to be beef for old Ricky. I love it.
but he's right. Like you're kind of surfing and
Like,
you have to
he-
roll with the
Yeah,
waves.
this person's reducing your job to like, hey, did you set it last week and you can just show up and everything's like it was? Get out of here.
That's what
Frank,
you want them to feel.
I mean, I
Take
kind
some,
of,
yeah, exactly.
I
Take
kind of
some
thought
pride
that was
in
the
your work,
deal.
Frank.
No, I thought that was the
Wow.
deal. No, I mean, just keep the settings the same. No,
Yeah.
plug and play.
Ariel thinks it's just popping the lights on.
No, I don't think it's popping the lights, but I
Press and
mean,
play.
Ariel wrote this question to himself.
No,
so
I
he could-
didn't.
He could
I
put
noticed
Frank
there's
on
not a,
blast.
Oh, funny. There's the 20-second question. It's for Mysterious Frank.
Yeah.
I
Don't even see it on the list here.
okay. I mean, I guess. Honestly, I really did think that was the case. Maybe it's because I got so spoiled by the fact that it's always been good, right? So I just figured it just was, was smooth sailing. But in any event, we love Frank. And to be honest, this show wouldn't be what it is without him.
I want you to remember that for our meeting later.
What's our meeting later?
That one you put on my calendar.
Yeah, right. I don't do that, by the way. I'm very.
We're having the meeting right now.
I'm very anti this, by the way. I'm anti. People do this to me all the time. I put some time on your calendar. I'm like, what calendar are you talking about? And how do you know that I didn't have like a lunch date with my wife on that time? Like, you can't just. It's very presumptuous to just throw a time down on someone's calendar. What does that mean? Hey. The way I do it is, are you available at this time? Imagine I went up to a fighter and I'm like, hey, man, I just threw some time down on your calendar. I'll see you on Monday. Like, what? Who puts their whole life out on a calendar for everyone to see so that you can just pop in there and choose a time? What is this? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm kind of in have a calendar and people can throw times on their camp, to be honest.
Depends on the person, depends on the hours as well.
By the way, what if I don't want to talk to you? Even if I'm open, I just want to Netflix and chill.
Doesn't work for me. Cancel it. Doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
What did you say? No, it doesn't work. Sorry.
What about, why don't we skip the step and be like, hey, are you available on Thursday? Yeah, sure.
Then you have to interact with them. Throw it on the calendar. Great. Kick that thing off there.
Where's this calendar that's available to everyone?
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Everybody has a Google calendar.
Must be nice.
It's next to the set it and forget it audio
What do you mean?
settings.
What do you mean? So right now, can you access a calendar of mine?
Yeah.
That's the spirit, Frank.
Someone told me that they threw some time on a calendar. I'm like, where's this calendar? I'd love to see it.
Google has a
Google
thing
account supplied to you by our workplace.
And I'm not sure if other calendar apps have it, but I'm sure they do.
I don't even know. What do you mean must be nice? I would love to have a calendar with all my stuff on it. Are you kidding?
You do have a calendar.
Where?
You do.
I'd love to find it. Where can I find it?
Your Google
account supplied to
Calendar.
you by our
What does that mean? What does that mean, Google Calendar? I have one on my phone.
Go to Gmail.
Yeah.
Gmail. Then it should be, we're on the phone or on the computer right now?
Well,
Google.com/calendar. Literally, just go to it.
Yeah, but isn't that connected to my Gmail account?
That's pretty sick.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of that shortcut, Rick. I'm not going to lie.
Let me see this.
I was taking the long way home. I was going to Gmail and then clicking on the calendar.
I'm here to help.
I honestly didn't know about any of this. So, and if I look at this right now, oh yeah, this is the calendar I have with my family. There's no.
Now, if you have dates, if you have slots in there that are taken up, and somebody tries to schedule something with you, it will show.
Wait, did you have
that
access
you are busy
to this?
during
is
those
this public?
times? No, they don't know what's on your calendar. They just know that you're not available.
But if I wanted
time.
to put time on your calendar, how would I do that right now?
Create
an event and invite me
at
to
the time you want. If you are busy, Google will tell me that. It'll be like, nope, you can't do it then.
But how do I get this to you?
You create the event.
Yeah, you create the
you
event.
Add people to it, and then you send it like a Zoom meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't know.
Yeah, we're just helping you out here.
No,
just
listen.
Welcome to
2016.
2016.
Do you know what Outlook is?
I don't use that either.
I'm just curious if you've ever heard of it.
I've heard of it. I just don't use it. Listen, there's enough to do with sending people. I do notice when I go on other shows, people send me emails with a whole layout of do this, do that. Even TST does it. Put the headphones. I just send the people a link on a text.
Yeah,
it's like the least professional thing of all time. I mean, it works.
See, I think there's you're approaching it from a perspective of somebody who wants to minimally bother somebody and make it as easy as possible for them, right? But you're not approaching it from the perspective of like people who are colleagues on equal level, just saying like, hey, let's make this as smooth and easy as possible. We can just put it on the calendar. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you're coming at it from the perspective of like you're booking fighters, you're booking people who are not likely to kind of go through this process and make it complicated. You want to make it simple, but that's, different for different applications. So your wife and yourself don't like put stuff on the calendar?
Yeah, we have a shared one.
So how's that different?
I mean,
literally
it's just
what
like,
we're talking about.
It's just on my phone here. It's not like a thing that I can throw. It's not like a public thing. Do you know what I mean?
You guys agreed to do, or she was like, "Hey, this is set up. You need to get with the program."
Can I be honest with you right now? I have no idea how it happened.
Yeah,
is it your calendar app on your phone?
It's like the calendar. Yeah, it's the calendar app on my phone.
Calendar app on your phone.
Yeah, how it got synced, how it got linked, I have zero idea.
It's not about the
it's the gnomes,
publicness of it.
right?
It's about the
I just don't
windows are
understand when
blocked
someone
off.
says I put time on your calendar. I don't know how to do that, and I don't even understand. It's just the whole thing is very confusing.
I'm literally about to put time on your calendar just to.
I'm only gonna
Okay,
put time on
can
your
you do
calendar
that?
from
And
now
I
on.
can.
I'm just gonna fill up
did
your
it.
calendar right
How?
now.
Where is it? Where's
It
the?
should be on your calendar. I did it while you guys were talking about this. I was like, I can't believe this is real.
Oh my! What is the calendar? I would love to know what the calendar is.
Rick, where did you go?
It's
Yeah, where
it's
did
your
Rick go?
calendar
He's
section
putting
of
stuff on the calendar.
Is he putting stuff on the calendar?
it's the calendar section of your Google account.
I know. So
Calendar.google.com.
okay, so just curious,
Add guests, Ariel.
Andy, where did you put it? Can I see it?
I mean, I can show it to you after.
Let's do it
Well,
now
like what
at
day?
5:00.
What day is it?
It
Today.
looks like
Oh,
looks like
5
5
p.m.
o'clock is good for you. So I'll just go ahead and save that. I'll go ahead and send you an invite.
It's gonna ask you for a
Invite all
password.
guests.
It's ID.
Spamming
All right,
how
cool.
on his calendar.
Ariel, just put some time on your
And
calendar.
I can
Wow.
actually
25 minutes
see.
from now.
I
Wait
can
a-
see that Connor put time on your calendar.
wait a second. Wait a second. Did you put Old Man Helwani?
Old man Helwani.
Wow.
Meeting, bro.
How did you
figure out how to put time on the calendar?
This is amazing.
How did you do that?
It's magic.
Just put time on the
It's
calendar.
really
bro.
magic.
Wait, who
Really
did that? Was
magic.
that you or was that Andy?
I put it on, but now she can see that she can't make a meeting for 5 o'clock because I just put time on your calendar.
The fuck? I would really love to know how you did that. That is amazing.
You go on your Google account, you hit create,
Yes.
and then you go event.
Yes.
Then it's going to give you a whole bunch of options. I can name it, time, is it focus time, is it out of office, is it task?
Sure.
And then it says add guests. And because we've emailed back and forth, all I have to do is type your name in, and then I can just bang, there it is.
I just got the email, Old Man Helwani. Here's my question. Can you see what else is on the calendar?
No.
no.
That's
so
the thing.
it'll,
So how do you know?
it'll be like
You know
blocks,
what's
like
you know
colored
what's off.
blocks will show it, and it's just like, nope, he's not available this time. He's busy. Someone else
Oh.
put some time on his calendar.
you know what's busy, but you don't know what it is. You could be doing anything. We don't
Okay.
know.
Well, I just
we know we
declined.
can't put
I
time on your
declined
calendar.
your calendar invitation.
So
All
are
right,
we
so you're
meeting?
not
See how
available
easy
then?
that was?
Yeah.
See how easy that was? To decline it?
But you know what's
That's-
weird?
That's it.
I should be able to decline, and then they should be able to say, like, well, what about this time, right?
You can do that.
Yeah.
You can propose a new
Then-
time to them.
Yeah,
You're able
you,
to
you
kick it
bounce
back.
back by putting time on their calendar.
No, there's actually a function. Like
Oh,
you can
yeah.
decline
Oh,
and
wow, I've
propose a
never had to do
new.
that.
You can decline and propose a new time.
As someone who doesn't decline, I've never
Yeah.
had to do that before.
I'm a big acceptor. I like
Yeah, because
throw it on my calendar.
why
Let's
would
go.
you decline it if it's open?
Well, if you're busy.
Well, then it should be on your calendar. That
Yeah, I'm actually not gonna lie.
Listen.
my calendar is so ridiculously wide open and not reflective of. My
Yeah,
daily
who's
life.
put if I'm going to my kid's soccer game, I'm not putting that on my fucking calendar. Like, who's putting their whole life on there? You really have to
I put a lot of things on there.
Do your kids have planners for school?
No.
agendas?
We like to fly by the seat of our pants.
Agendas?
You
Nothing to
wouldn't-
write down like
maybe-
homework or anything?
You might not put the soccer game that you go to every week, but you might put like another kid's birthday party or a play date or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. They'll know you're busy. They'll be like, nope, we can't hit Helwani. He's busy from.
Honestly, I probably
10 to
should
2.
adopt more of this into my life, but it's just
We started at
think
I
that
hate
ship
this
sailed.
to now let's get this adopted throughout your life. I love it. Progress.
By the way, someone CNC Comedy Factory on the chat says, "Why isn't Ariel's butler doing this?" And that's the
That's
first
actually a
thing.
good question.
That's
That
the
is a
first
good
They're
thing
busy
that I-
telling people to take their shoes off.
Yeah, that's actually the first thing that I thought of. Why isn't my butler doing this?
They're looking for the Pacific
If
oat
you-
milk.
It feels more like
yeah.
an assistant job than a butler job,
Yeah.
but you know, alas.
Anyways, everyone's getting very upset because we've given them 3.5 hours of MMA talk, and the one sort of like 5-minute stretch of calendar talk has upset everyone very much. So thank you all for the questions. I appreciate it very much.